Hi, I'm Margarita Baldeo, and I'm reporting to you from Sterling High School, located in Somerdale, New Jersey. If you're not familiar with Somerdale, it is a small suburban town located in Camden County, and it's comprised of mostly blue-collar working-class families. Sterling High School District has 954 students and 101 staff members. Out of those 954 students, 185 of those are classified students in our special education department. From those 954 students, 30 of those students are English language learners, which 20 of those students are Burmese refugees. We offer a variety of school choice programs, being the ROTC Navy program, the Early Childhood Development program, the Allied Sciences Health program, multimedia design, television production, and another program that we offer for our special education students are an MD, multiply disabled, transition to work program, where we link our students with community companies for work and allow them to continue on beyond high school. Good afternoon, Sterling High School staff. As many of you know already, my name is Margarita Baldeo, and I am your new supervisor of instruction. I asked to meet with you guys today just to kind of go over a few general ideas and expectations and moving forward together in this school year and what I expect and would like to happen in your classrooms, as well as what you can expect from me on my end as your supervisor. So just to start off a bit, I want to say that we are all aware that we're living in a time where standards and accountability for teachers and educators is extremely important. I've kind of heard a few teachers refer to it as an audit culture and the IRS of education as far as Common Core standards go, and now with the PARCC testing, a lot of tension and frustration not only on the educator's behalf but on the student's behalf. With that being said, these standards are currently here to stay, and we have to find a way to navigate through this while educating our students the way they need to so that they can be competitive in our global community. So with that being said, I want to move forward and point out something that Heidi Hayes Jacob said. She is the developer of Curriculum 21, and she refers to the number 2 pencil as the enemy, and I happen to agree with her. There are so many strategies, technologies, and learning tools out there for our students currently, especially in the age of social media, that we can't bound our students by objects such as the pencil and expect for them to be engaged and entertained. We want to move forward beyond the idea of coverage mentality and go to mastery mentality. Many teachers are used to thinking, oh, I have to cover this topic within this time frame. We only have X amount of weeks. And most of the time, rushing through that coverage, students do not gain the knowledge needed and really the skills or tools to perform well on any assessment because they're feeling rushed, the assignments are not really connecting with the information, and things can snowball for students. So the first thing I would like for teachers to consider in their instruction in classrooms is trying to do more with focusing on mastering topics. If you fall a little behind, it is okay. It's not going to be the end of the world as long as the students gain the knowledge and skills they need from the content you are trying to portray to them. Also, we want to get away from feeling that the teacher is the bus driver and the students are just along for the ride. Students need to be engaged and have ownership of their learning. They need to express their needs, their wants, their interests, so that learning becomes a collaboration, not a session where you're lecturing down to the student and students are distracted. I also want to point out that this can be a very beneficial tool, especially if you're a teacher who has students in your classroom that may be classified. That coverage mentality, that bus driver technique is not going to help with these students, especially when differentiation is required. Moving forward, we want to promote opportunities for authentic learning. And what I mean by that is higher thinking, deep knowledge, conversation, and connections to the world. You don't want a student to come in your classroom just to memorize information for a test and then walk out that classroom after the test is over and completely forget the information that they learned. You want them to engage with each other in the classroom when doing these activities, really understand the information that is being taught, and being able to connect that information to the outside world. You don't want it to be just learning within a classroom. Also, classroom instruction, the way you present material to students. You want to have an integrative approach. Two approaches that seem to be very beneficial are the presentation style and the workshop style. Presentation style, yes, you're the teacher, you're presenting the topic, the content to student. You want them to acquire the knowledge and the basis of what you're trying to get across to them. But you want to do so in a way that students are engaged with you. So whether you're using different forms of technology, radio, TV, Facebook, Twitter, etc., do so when you're presenting this information. Workshop style. It's really more so like a mini lesson. You're going to guide the students to work on a task, but then the task is really going to be student-guided activities. The students will be responsible for their own learning and ownership, collaborating with each other, creating a learning community within the classroom. Because at the end of the day, we know when students leave high school, leave the academic settings, they need to be functional beings within our society. They need to learn how to communicate, how to express their ideas, the knowledge base that they have with other people within the world setting, not the classroom setting. So we really want to put a lot of emphasis on things that can allow students to be successful beyond the classroom. Now, some ways we could assess how we're doing in class as teachers it's a three-pronged system. Number one, we could assess the dynamics of our teaching and learning strategies. Look around in your classroom. Are your students engaged? Are people distracted? Are they playing with their phones? Are they talking to their neighbor? Obviously, these are normal behaviors that tend to happen every now and then in class, but you want to make sure that they're not behaviors because the students are bored and are not engaged in the information you're trying to present to them. With that being said, this is key. You need to reassess, revisit, and reevaluate and implement new strategies to gain the attention, which may be different for different classes. Second, assess tasks you are giving to students. Here I refer back to Heidi Hayes' 21st Century Skills. If you're going to give a student a report that needs to be done, why not incorporate some social media? Have them do a Facebook account for the individual that they are doing the report about. What would their Facebook profile look like? Who would their friends be in this time frame? Incorporate what kind of post that person would place if they were in a difficult situation, depending on the report that they're doing. This way, students are engaged and they're also doing things that they are knowledgeable about and that are current. We want students to learn right now skills, not back then skills. And lastly, assess the work completed by students. Now, after you've done all of this, the final product really is looking at the students' work and what they provided you with. Did they understand the material you gave them? Did they do so in a creative, thoughtful, and knowledgeable way? Did they connect it to the world? Did they master that topic? This student's work will display all of those things, whether you achieved the goal of teaching, presenting, and the student mastering the topic. Did that happen? Now, if you notice that a lot of the students did not master the topic through their presentations, then you know you have to go back, reassess, revisit, and maybe think of other ways to, assess and gauge whether a student really completed the task the way that, it was required to. And a few more things I wanted to say. I read a book by Dr. Seuss a very long time ago. It's called Hooray for Diffendooffer Day. Now, if you've never read that book as a teacher, I definitely suggest you pick up a copy and read it. I actually have read it to my son as well. The point of the Diff and Do for Day is that the students are nervous about taking a standardized test. They don't understand why this needs to be done. They're scared about the questions that are going to be on the test. Everyone is extremely nervous, but the teachers are confident. They're confident because although their students were learning information through unconventional ways, different tasks, a variety of things, they were confident they were teaching their students how to think. They were not teaching to the test. And in the end, the students did very well because no matter the setup of the test, the students were able to rationalize and have a higher level thinking. And that's what we want to do. We don't want to do something that's going to box our students into a one-size-fits-all educational system when students themselves are not a one-size-fits-all. We all know that there's a lot of pressure placed on standardized testings, things of that nature, proficiencies, but students are different learning styles. Like I mentioned, there's English language learners, special education students, a variety of things, and we need to step away a little bit from that and kind of get back to the reason why we became educators. That is to teach and allow our students to think. Now, my goals for you guys and what you can expect from me during the school year are the following. I hope to create a curriculum and instruction council with a budget component. And what I mean by that is a council that is comprised of administration and teachers, whoever would like to participate with us, to discuss key curriculum changes, any information that you feel would help develop our curriculum further to really meet the needs of students currently. And by meeting the needs of students, I have added a needs assessment tool. This tool will be utilized by all teachers within their classrooms and allow for collaboration with one another to discuss what kinds of changes need to be made, how are students learning, what learning styles are currently impacting your classrooms, and how we can address those issues with current technologies versus just focusing on textbooks. Another thing, I would like to continue to develop our professional learning centers and hopefully develop it into a learning academy. And what I mean by that exactly is professional development for teachers on a variety of topics, which can range from differentiation and instruction, behavior management in your classroom, how to implement current technologies, things of that nature, so that teachers are really receiving best practices and up-to-date information to better service students. And also, I would like to, in the future, incorporate some more resources. We currently do not have a curriculum mapping system, which I feel would really allow for cohesion among teachers and really allow us to look at your lessons plans effectively and clearly, and everyone can be on the same page as far as format. I've had some experience with a Rubicon Atlas, and the Rubicon Atlas provides maps that are clear, concise, and easy to read, very user-friendly, and saves a lot of time, really. So I'm going to look into budgeting for that and perhaps seeing if we can implement that within our school district. Curriculum 21 is by Heidi Hayes, which I used before when I was speaking to you. She really is a pioneer with curriculum development and really focusing on teaching our students now skills and being ready for tomorrow. I would like to incorporate some of her resources into our school district to really further develop our ideas and our students and our teachers. Around the World in 80 Schools is a resource that I stumbled upon. It's actually podcasts of teachers and students around the world discussing topics with one another, and that's just another example of how much we can use outside sources and technology to better our students and their learning. Have them engaged, have them have ownership. And with that being said, I really do look forward to working with all of you this year, and my door is always open. If you have any questions, I want you to know this is a collaborative relationship. I will be coming into your classrooms doing informal and formal observations. I hope to implement in the future for teachers to collaborate and observe each other's classrooms so that you guys can get ideas from one another's, because who better to learn from than your colleagues. And in our informal observations, that'll be the time for us to discuss expectations, what I should be looking for, what I should understand from you. Because I really want to know what it is that is important to you as a teacher. Your classroom is your home ultimately, and I'm a guest in that home. So I want you to know that I'm coming in. I just want to collaborate, and I really look forward to having a wonderful year with you guys. Thank you so much. Go Knights.